Hello, beautiful being. When you experience a phase of solitude, where it seems like there's no one in your life that you feel aligns with you, like your energy is just, they're not clicking, it's not a match. Maybe you've been in a relationship with someone and there's like this constant pattern of either disrespect or repeated behaviors where they don't get it. They're not getting what they need to do in order to be worthy of being in your life. Okay, and maybe you've experienced this within a romantic relationship or a friendship. It could be a family relationship, okay, any kind of relationship. But there are certain times in our lives on the spiritual path where it seems like there's just like this flush of energy where it's like there has to be solitude because nobody makes the cut. And that is a very powerful time to be in. I have gone through that in at several points in my life. And what I found is that when you have to set yourself apart in order to protect your energy, and you have to cleanse your world of most of your connections, if not all of them. Sometimes we do that in order to protect our emotional bandwidth because we've been through so much trauma, we've been through so much pain that if you're surrounded by people who don't understand and are not sensitive to where you are emotionally and energetically, you just have to distance yourself. But sometimes that solitude is an energetic clearing that is divinely destined for you. And the reason why it can be difficult to accept that as a part of our path is because so often we're pressured, usually from our youth, to interact and to be extroverted. And for natural introverts, that can be a very difficult thing. You know, you're trying to have all these relationships and it's like, put me in a room by myself, please. And so we find ourselves sometimes forcing relationships that don't truly have a place in our life, or putting up with certain behaviors just because we don't want to be seen as a loner or as an introvert. I think people are just starting to understand what introversion really is. Okay, it's loving your inner world. But what I've learned from these times of solitude is that it really is a blessing, because what Divine is saying is that you have outgrown a lot of the connections that at one time you either put up with or you were a match for. You know, that's where you vibrated at that time, where you could connect with that person on a regular basis and be okay. Then you start noticing that when you're connecting with that person on a regular basis, you just don't feel right. Maybe you're experiencing nausea or anxiety or headaches, and it's like, what is going on? I'm around this person and I feel completely exhausted. Spirit might be preparing you for an energetic clearing that involves or requires solitude. And so when we're guided to experience that solitude, it's basically where you've outgrown something and there is a clearing that's happening. And how we handle that clearing is very important, because when you are guided to a phase of solitude, there is something that Divine is preparing you for that does involve connection of some sort. You see, solitude is never meant to be a permanent state that we live in. We can always enjoy our solitude, times of solitude, times of being alone, and that can be very important. But living in hermit mode for the rest of our lives, humans are made to relate with one another. And I have learned, even as independent and introverted as I am, there are so many benefits that we have when we allow ourselves to connect with divine beings that we are divinely guided to connect with. And they do exist. But we have to be willing to enter a state of solitude sometimes in order to detach from the very either narcissistic or high conflict type personalities that keep siphoning from us. And so when we are in a state of aloneness, Divine is encouraging us to nurture our relationship with ourselves, to take a look at what was going on in those other connections that were so toxic, giving us time and space and solitude to understand that we deserve better, and allowing us to grow to a point where we never, ever will attract those types of toxic connections. And sometimes we don't attract them. Sometimes it's a family member that you didn't choose. But in that state of solitude, Divine guides us to gain clarity as to how we can build up our own energy, so that if we ever do have to deal with that person, we deal with them in a way where we're not losing our own strength. So we're able to remain sovereign, even if we do occasionally have to interact with them, or sometimes the state of solitude, we're guided to that state of solitude to realize that there has to be a complete cutoff. Okay? So in that state of solitude, we're gaining clarity. And what happens when we achieve that clarity, we gain that sense of self-love and sovereignty, is that Divine prepares within us and around us everything that's needed in order for us to come together, in order to be able to harmonize with a divine being that is an appropriate energetic match for us. And this does not have to be a romantic relationship. I know a lot of people are like, no, I don't want romance. And that's okay. But some people do. And it's okay if you do or you don't, okay? But I have found that humans do need humans at some point on our journey. And it is perfectly healthy and normal to go through phases in our life where we're just like, okay, I need to do me. I need to heal myself. I need to take a look at how I treat myself. Okay? I need to be my own lover, my own parent, my own brother, my own sister, my own friend for a while. And for however long is required, right? But in the process of being grateful for that solitude and that opportunity to love on ourselves, we are being prepared to harmonize and relate with another being, whether it's in a romantic connection or a friendship, or it could even be a mentorship kind of relationship, or it could be sort of parental, but maybe that's not your parent by blood, but you see that person as a mother figure or a father figure or a big brother or a little sister, okay? So the blessing that happens when we begin to harmonize with another beautiful being is that we become reflections of one another. And I'm able to see myself in another beautiful being. They're able to see themselves in me. And if there's something that I'm struggling with, they can assist me through that because they see the similarities and the differences between us. And we can honor both. We can honor the things that make us alike and the things that make us different. And we can be a source of support and harmony for one another. This is so helpful on the healing process when we're ready. When we're ready. And it's so priceless and amazing to respect and honor that state of solitude where we're being guided to just love on ourselves, so that when we do come into union with another beautiful being, it's right. And honestly, what that does, at least for me, I can speak for myself, is that it has restored my faith in humanity. And it's reminded me that, yeah, the people that I experienced trauma with and so much chaos, I learned lessons from them, but that's not how every single being is on this earth. And so I'm grateful for the lessons I learned that, yes, at one time were extremely traumatic, but I allowed it to prepare me for wonderful unions that I'm able to experience with other divine beings. So I just wanted to bring that through because, there are so many lessons that we learn about boundaries and the very necessary separation that happens on the spiritual path. But there is also union and harmony that occurs as well. And it's so beautiful. I hope this was helpful. I love you. I wish you peace. I wish you joy and so many blessings. Take care.